Hello and welcome to our channel called Tricks of the S Trade. And today's video is about Beyonce being a sex trade from male to female. Today is the 12th of February 2017, and I would like to start off by saying that I have nothing against transgenders, and because God has given us all the ability, the choice to live your life any way you want it. You have a choice to live it right, you have a choice to mess it up, or you have a choice to live according to what He wants you to live. So I cannot take that choice away or judge anybody based on how they live. And judgment is only left for God. The only reason why I'm making this video is trying to bring to the public's attention and to those who's trying to make sense of life as well, to make them understand that there is an organized transgendering of children. That means taking children at very young ages and mutilating them, taking away their genitals, feeding them with hormones, and making them to live in a sex or gender that's not theirs. And it's thriving very, very well. It's a business. And most of the people that you see on TV in Hollywood are transgendered. So that's the whole idea of bringing this to you so you could better understand things. And the reason why I'm doing all this is just to bring to the public's attention that kids should have a choice to decide how they want to live, and not by people forcing them to live in a way that they don't want to. So with that said, I'll just go straight into the matter. And before I start, I want to read something from the Wikipedia page called castrato. And it says, as the castrato's body grew. A castrato is a terminology used for males who have been castrated. That means males who, after being born male, have their genitals mutilated, taken away, and forced to have some sort of a female genitalia when it's not naturally theirs. That have been given hormones and forced to live as females. So this is what it's talking about. So as the castrato's body grew, his lack of testosterone meant that his epiphysis, his bone joints, did not harden in the normal manner. Thus the limbs of the castrati often grew unusually long, as did the bones of their ribs. I want you to take note of that. And another thing I want to add as I'm going further is that in cases of a male to female transgender, one thing that usually covers up like the features that really define a male is by using long hair to cover the shoulders and the neck area, which will usually tell you that someone is male or female, because males tend to have a broader shoulder or wider shoulders, and because males also have heavier skulls, so they need a wider neck to support the heavier skulls. So a man's neck is usually wider and it's much more developed, as well as having well developed trapezius muscles, the muscles around the neck. So with that, let me show you a couple of pictures of Beyonce and what I'm talking about. Now, here is a picture of Beyonce when she was much younger, before she has all the curves that you see today on her and the way she looks. If you notice that Beyonce's hand is unusually long for a female, that's because she's not a natural born female. If you follow my mouse, you'll see what I'm talking about. The hands are naturally long. And how you determine a female is by measuring the length of her arms in relation to her crotch area. So if I draw a line from the crotch area of Beyonce across towards her hands, you would see that it ends well above the wrists, because this is the length of a male hand, not a female's hands. Now let me show you how a female should look, the hands. All right. Now, you're looking at a female right here. So if I draw the line from her crotch area to her hands, you would see that line crosses into the palms of her hands, not above the wrists. So a female's hands The crotch, from the crotch area, the length should fall in between her palms, fall in the middle of her palms, because this is a female. And usually females have a shorter shoulder. So because of that, the elbows or the hands hang closer to the body. And because the arms hang closer to the body, the elbows have to find a rest point just above the pelvis, as you can see here. The elbows are just above the pelvis. If you look to the female to the right, and we draw the crotch, right? We draw a line from the crotch to our arms. You will see that the line goes inside the palms of her arms. It doesn't go above the wrist, showing that she is female. You can do that to the other side of her palms too, and see that as well. So with that said, from this picture that I just presented to you, you will see that Beyonce's arms are way too long for a female, showing that she's not a natural born female, that she was born male, transgendered, mutilated, given hormones, estrogen to be exact, and forced to live as a female. She is a product of the people who run Hollywood, who run the TV that you watch, the music and the news, and the people in it. And as I've said earlier before, it is the Vatican that owns Hollywood, not the Jews. The Jews are a smoke screen, and they're paid heavily to be that smoke screen. So let's go down to further pictures just to prove what I'm saying. Now, here is another picture of Beyonce, still when she was much more younger. As you can see, the arms are unusually long, and she has really large hands. And these are not the hands of a natural born female, showing you that she was born a male. Another picture to prove my point. Now with this particular picture, it shows you a lot that a lot of the pictures are photoshopped, because as you can see, her arms are naturally long here, and like I said, if you draw the line from her crotch to her arms, you would see that it ends above her wrist, showing that she's not a natural born female. She was born male. Now the only difference between the next picture I'm going to show you is just the color. They changed the color of the swimsuit she's wearing. So you can see it's the exact same picture. The only difference is that the color's been changed. And that goes to prove to you that a lot of her pictures are photoshopped. So to prove my point again, let's look at Beyonce's back. For a female who's supposed to give birth to children, her back has to be shaped into an ace shape. So it's going to be shaped like the letter S. That means she's going to have like a deep curve or arch in her back. And that's done so that she can carry the weight of the pregnancy and have no problems. If you look at Beyonce's back, the back is way too straight. It goes straight into her pelvis. The only reason why this has a bit of a curve is because she's done some sort of surgery, some plastic surgery, a Brazilian butt lift, or whatever you might call it, to pull the fat out of her abdomen into her butt. And as you can see, the distance between her back, the width, a female's back is never this wide from the side view. It's because of the S curve in the back. So the female's back will always dip in right below the shoulders and start coming out right above the navel and right into the pelvis, because the pelvis is tilted forward. Another picture to show what I'm saying. As you can look at Beyonce's back right here, it's straight up and down. There is no arch. You see no dip in that S-shaped arch that a female is supposed to have to support pregnancy, to be able to carry the weight of a child. This is another picture to show how long her arms are. This was when she was much younger. And the hair to cover up the neck and the shoulder areas and all the little details of like pulling in a necklace here. So it always is trying to, pull your eyes away from the neck so you can't see what really is going on in there. That she has a wide neck and a long arm. And if you draw an arm, draw the line from a crotch to her arm area, you will see it ends well above her wrist. So some other pictures now. This is another picture. You can see the arm is way too long. And if you draw a line from the crotch area down to the arms, it's well above the wrist, showing that she's not a natural born female, but was born male. Another picture to prove some more points. That's a picture still showing the straight back with no curve. Straight back with no curve. I'm going to blow this up as much as I can so you can see. The back's all straight down into the pelvis, no curve. You see the wide neck area here? And you see the trapezius muscles over here being well built because males have heavier skulls. Heavier skulls, larger skulls than females. And because of the heavier weight on top, this has to be wide enough to support the weight. It's normal in architectural design. If you have something heavier that you're building on top, it has to have a wide enough base to support the weight so this doesn't crumble. So that's the reason why men have wider necks and well-built shoulders or well-built muscle shoulders like the trapezius muscles to support the long shoulders as well. Now, there's something I wanted to bring to your attention. Maybe way back, let's say a couple of years ago, you had this whole news about that Beyonce had her photoshopped thigh gap. And maybe you didn't understand why. The reason why is because males don't have thigh gaps. It's only females that have thigh gaps. The reason being that the female pelvis is wider than a male pelvis. And the pubic arch in between, because the pelvis is wider, the legs of a female sit further apart. The reason is because it has to have enough space for a child to come out of the female genital area. So the pubic arch here is always wider, making the legs of a female to be further apart. So you see that thigh gap. Now, Beyonce had to Photoshop her own thigh gap because she's not a natural born female. She was born male. So if you could check this picture right here, you will see that the stairs that she's climbing on a yacht, the first staircase here right here below her feet is straight. The second one is straight. The third one is straight. The fourth one, you can see that there seems to be like some sort of like pixelated cover up because they tried to add a thigh gap. So by the time you go up here, right, you will see that the whole staircase is warped or twisted because in trying to add the thigh gap, they did it wrongly and they twisted or messed up the pixels. So if you can look right here, the stairs are no longer straight. I have a better picture to show that. And this is the picture right here. So you can go online and you can Google it. You could see, you could type in something like Beyonce's photoshopping her thigh gap, and then you will understand. But what the media does so well, because the same people who own the media, the news, whether it be CNN or Fox or any of the news outlets, are the same people who own Hollywood, are the same people who own Beyonce, who they treat as a product to give you a false reality and false fantasy about the world you live in, and especially to arouse more passions in men towards men. They will twist it and they'll never tell you the truth. They'll never tell you that the reason why Beyonce's thigh gap, right, is photoshopped this way is because she's male. Rather, they'll twist it to confuse you more and tell you that she just wants to look more gorgeous, or that kind of rendering. So that's how they work. So another thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is was there was one time that when Beyonce was pregnant, because right now she's pregnant with twins as of the 12th of February 2017. When she was pregnant with her first child, according to the news, there was a lady who said that Beyonce's doesn't have the fullness that pregnant women usually have when they're between 5 to 7 and 8 months pregnant. And she said something about that her chest right here, as you can see, doesn't look like a natural cleavage of a woman who's pregnant, or natural cleavage at all. If you want to watch that video or try to see what she was talking about, how Beyonce appeared in this video, you can Google online and look for Live at Roseland with Beyonce, the DVD, and you can watch the whole entire like interview of what the lady said. Now there's a better picture I have that I'm gonna blow up to show you what the lady was talking about. So with this picture right here, I'm gonna blow it up as much as I can. Now if you look, right, you would see that right here, just below Beyonce's cleavage, where my mouse is pointing at, you would see that it looks like some sort of prosthetic that she was wearing to make this cleavage look fuller like that of a female pregnant woman, right? And so the lady was quick to spot that this looks like some sort of prosthetic. And then she went on to say, with a picture, the same picture that I'm going to show you now, that she was wearing a black bra. Because if you look at the side, the bra looks black. So why is it that over here you have this nude color that looks like, the bra was black on the side and then nude on the inside, but the cleavage doesn't look real, like a real cleavage? So that's what she was trying to point out. And then, just to show you how Photoshop really works, I'm gonna play a video that takes a picture of Beyonce and makes it look fuller, like she was pregnant. So here's a picture of Beyonce. As you can see from this picture right here, she doesn't look like she's pregnant, right? But with Photoshop, and one of the tricks of Photoshop is like, if you want to know something is Photoshopped, Photoshop likes using plain background or studio settings. And then, and the next thing is that the picture is gonna be, if you're trying to cover something up, you have to make it blurry, hazy, not really clear. It seems like all of a sudden when Beyonce is pregnant, the pictures don't seem to be clear anymore. They become so fuzzy and hazy, and the background was plain all of a sudden. So because that's what it's appearing on TV right now, that she's pregnant with twins. If you see any of the pictures, you see that the background was plain, and that she and the picture is fuzzy. They're covering up with a veil. It's not clear all of a sudden. So I'll play this right here just to show you what I mean. This is a Photoshop. Now you will see the picture will start increasing and pulling it out and making her look fuller like a pregnant woman. Watch, please, and watch closely. See, she's lean now. Then all of a sudden, and so if somebody presented this to you, you would say, oh, Beyonce is pregnant, but it's photoshopped. So with that said, I'm gonna stop the video, and I'll ask you to subscribe to our channel, and that you keep your mind open and don't be deceived about the people pulling the strings in Hollywood and giving you a false sense of reality and of life as general. So thank you, and stay tuned.